What up, everybody? What up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of AC Reviews the World. I am your host, AC the Engineer, and we are at episode 156. Yeah, 156. We're moving on up there. Hopefully, everybody had a good day today. It is Monday, March 23rd, 2026, year of our Lord, and it's the first show of the week, y'all. It is the first show of the week. So you know what that means. We got a lot of stuff to catch up on that happened over the weekend, and just the world is a crazy place, and we have to review it together, y'all. Just a little housekeeping before we start. Remember, the best way to support this video is just to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so you can be up to date on all the videos now. Now, we meet Monday through Friday, starting at 6 o'clock, where we go over 4 different topics that we just need to talk about together. But you know how I like to do it. Let's jump right into it. How Future say, let's have a sensational show today, y'all. The first topic we're going to be discussing today is, we know we got to talk about ISIS. But ICE has been told by Trump to go and support the TSA agents. Now, some people are supported, some people are for it, some people are against it. But the real question is, what kind of power will they hold or be able to do in the airports? But we'll go over into it. We got a few videos to look at. Then, of course, we'll go over to the AI breakdown just to see what else information we can get into. But let's jump over into it and see what we can find out, y'all. Let's see what it's all about.
Another week of TSA agents out there working hard without a paycheck. Many, though, choosing to just call out sick or quit the agency altogether. So the result is what you see here on the screen, huge lines. This one outside the airport and inside. That remains a problem at airports all across the country. Now, in response, the president wrote on social media, ICE agents will staff airports starting today. Border Czar Tom Homan at the helm for that assignment. Let's go live to CBS News immigration correspondent Camila Montoya Galvez. Camila, what kind of role will these ICE agents play at the airport? Typically, we don't associate ICE with airports.
Good morning, Reed. That is completely right. What we have seen so far this morning, Reed, is that the role of ICE agents at major U.S. airports has been limited in scope and nature. We have seen ICE agents on video basically standing guard at certain parts of the airport. Border Czar Tom Homan has said that they will mainly be securing and providing security at airport exit and entry points instead of actually screening and identifying and vetting passengers and luggage. That is still work that is being mostly done by TSA agents who, again, are under tremendous pressure because they are not being paid during this partial government shutdown. Let's listen to what Tom Homan has said about this operation.
My opinion is that we concentrate on the airports where the longest waits are. We prioritize those. The large airports where there's a long wait, like 3 hours. I think we got to prioritize what we do like we do everything else. We're simply there to help TSA do their job in areas that don't need their specialized expertise.
And Reed, even though the...
Now, let me say something, y'all. Think about this. Now, the TSA agents are not getting paid because of the partial government shutdown. But you know who are? ICE agents. ICE agents are getting paid. So how would it feel if you over there sitting doing your job and they call in more reinforcements, but you still can't get a paycheck? It's a crazy situation.
The role of ICE agents appears to be somewhat limited, especially at this point. It is important to note that it will still likely be controversial, their presence at airports, because the agency, as you know, has become deeply contentious and polarizing over the past year under the second Trump administration, which has instructed ICE agents to go into different cities across the country to identify and arrest people suspected of being in the country illegally. However, I will have to note that we have seen on video that most of the ICE agents who have been deployed to airports have not been masking up. And that is, of course, a practice that became also deeply controversial. So that's also really critical to note.
You know, you and I and the American public say ICE all the time, but it means immigration and customs enforcement, enforcing the objectives of immigrations and customs. So to be very clear, will ICE agents be doing any immigration work there at the airport?
That is truly the million-dollar question, Reid. Administration officials, including Border Czar Tom Hillman, have said that the main objective here, that the main goal of this operation is for ICE to provide a supporting security role to TSA and to try to cut down the long lines that we have seen at airports throughout the country, not to engage in civil immigration enforcement. What is also true, however, is that ICE has the power, the legal authority, Reid, to arrest anyone they suspect is in the country illegally or deportable on other grounds, including at airports. That authority does not stop at airports. In fact, Holman has said that ICE routinely arrests people at airports. So if we see that, that could cause a lot of controversy. But again, the stated objective here is not to do immigration.
Now, here's a question. When will we see, because you know it's going to come out, where there's going to be a big scene where somebody was arrested saying that they were stalking people, or however they want to put it, that ICE agents arrested someone at the airport trying to leave or come in, and there's going to be a giant controversy over it. But let's go over into this next video and just get a little different perspective from a different news agency.
And Morgan, as LaGuardia remains shut down until about 2 p.m. today, other airports across the country are seeing big changes as ICE is deployed to assist the TSA. So far, ICE officers have been spotted at more than a dozen major airports, including Atlanta, New York, and Chicago. This is coming as travelers are dealing with hours-long wait times at security because of that partial government shutdown that's left TSA officers without pay, and it's forced thousands to call out of work or downright quit. NBC News correspondent Jesse Kirsch joins us now from Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. Jesse, good to see you. So where you are, Atlanta is facing some of the longest wait times, more than 2 hours last week to get through security. What are you seeing now that ICE officers have arrived, and what are they exactly supposed to be doing? What are they trained to do?
Yeah, so we know, according to a source, that ICE is training things like crowd control, can check IDs, but we haven't seen them doing much of that at all. Mostly our team has been seeing them roaming around the terminal, but of course we're not through the checkpoint, so we can't know for certain everything that they're doing. Vicky, at one point during the morning rush earlier here, the line started outside a long drop-off and curved around the building, wiggled through this area and baggage claim, and then dumped out over here. Now the line is shorter, but we still have people saying it took them about 45 minutes just to get to this point, and I'm going to keep walking to demonstrate for you just how long this line is. This is for one of the general screening checkpoints. People telling us it's taken them 2, 3, 4 hours to get through security. Spoke with a young woman a short time ago who said even after the morning rush, when she had booked a second flight of the day, it still took her about 3.5 hours to get through security and get to her gate. And I think one of the things that we're seeing here is even if the lines are going to start improving at airports across the country, this is still drastically shaking up people's days. That young woman, for example, she had a 9:30 flight. She told me she got here at 6 a.m. and knew pretty quickly that was not going to work. So she rebooked on a 6 p.m. flight, but was going through the security line around 10 a.m. So she's going to spend all day at the airport. She says she missed a test at school where she was headed back from a visit home here in Atlanta. So it is shaking up people's day, possibly their week. We know that if you miss a flight, right, that can really have a domino effect. And again, Vicky, I'm just going to point it out once more. I am still walking. This is still a line. How long have you guys been waiting? Too long. That's the answer. We've heard that quite a few times throughout the day. And I'm going to have our photographer, Ben, stay put. And I'm going to turn, Vicky, just show you. We're still going. We still got a ways to go. Past these signs, the next sign. This is just one of the checkpoints here at ATL. And this just speaks to what we're seeing at an airport that has been hit really hard by these TSA outages. We know that, according to DHS, almost half, more than 40% of TSA workers called out at this airport alone on Sunday. And we certainly are far from the end of this, clearly. Again, we're past the morning rush. This is what we're dealing with at one of the checkpoints, Vicky.
More, they said around half of the TSA agents. See, I guess that 2-hour rule does not matter anymore, because I used to arrive 2 hours before and be fine, making my way through it. But some people are waiting there 3-4 hours. It's a crazy situation, y'all. Let's go over into, we got the gist of that video. Let's go over into the AI breakdown and just get a little bit more information about this whole scene. So as we know, at least 14 major airports the ICE has been deployed to. So let's list through them. We're not going to just, I'm trying to get away from reading it. So we got Atlanta, Chicago, New York, Houston, Philadelphia, Phoenix, New Orleans, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Fort Myers, and San Juan. These are all the places where the ICE agents have gone to support. So what exactly are they doing? Crowd line management, guarding exits. Some are saying ID verification. I'm getting different reports on that. Patrol. But the key things that people are worried about is the training and safety. So we got the American federal government employees and, of course, Democratic lawmakers are arguing that ICE agents lack the specific aviation security training required for passenger screening. Most agents are wearing marked vests, but they have been directed to have no face mask, which is good. I can't imagine what people would be saying if ICE agents were still covering their faces while in the airport. So while officials claim that the primary mission in the airport is to support the support the TSA agents, civil rights groups like the ACLU have advised non-citizens to be aware of their rights, including the right to remain silent. It's a crazy situation, but they are trying. The president is trying to do something, but is it the right thing that he should be doing? Sending ICE agents to the airport. Is it just going to make more people upset? Is it just going to bring more controversy? At the end of the day, we just need to get these people paid. At the end of the day, who would want to be a TSA agent and not get paid? Go watch my last video. I talked about this. There's no way. As soon as I realized that this job was dependent on the government staying open, and just how this government has been acting just from the past, no. I already know I need to find me another job. 50% people call out in one day. And that's what happens. At the end of the day, it's not a good time to take a flight, y'all. It is not a good time to take a flight. But let me know your thoughts on that situation. Let me know how you feel about it. We got ICE at the airport, y'all, working with TSA. But we're going to pivot now into our second topic we're going to be discussing today. And dealing with more planes. And we had a plane collision at LaGuardia Airport. I might have said that wrong, but we got Air Canada ended up colliding with none other than a fire truck. It looks like several people were injured and 2 people were killed. Those were the pilots. But the craziest thing is, it seems like maybe a controller gave the fire truck the go-ahead to go. But we'll get over into it. We got a few videos to look at, and then, of course, we'll go over to the AI breakdown just to get a little bit more information on this whole situation. But let's jump over into it and see what we can find out, y'all. Let's jump into it.
Breaking news out of New York's LaGuardia Airport. You see that and the huge response. 2 killed, dozens more injured after this Air Canada Express plane crashed into a fire rescue truck late last night. In fact, the video shows the plane took some pretty significant damage. Look there right towards the front. The nose of that jet destroyed. At this point, LaGuardia remains closed at this hour, at least until 2 p.m. Eastern. The stories coming from this tragedy are pretty harrowing. Here is what one witness saw and heard.
The pilot came on and said there's been an accident with an Air Canada and a fire truck. I looked to my right at my window. I saw some emergency vehicles approaching. I didn't see a plane yet, and I looked to my north a little further, and I could see a plane propped up. It looked like it was almost like lifting off, but it was stationary. We got a really good view of the plane missing the whole front nose.
Well, you know who has huge proximity to this accident? Tom Hansen. He is there at a very rainy LaGuardia Airport. Tom, the National Transportation Safety Board, they are on the scene. What are they investigating right now?
Yeah, well, they have actually recovered 2 black boxes from this plane. Those are going to be critical in piecing together exactly what happened here, the communication inside the cockpit, the speed at which the plane was traveling when it hit on a head-on collision with that emergency truck. Reed, I want to show you just what we're seeing behind us. You can still see that there are some personnel on the ground. There's an emergency responder truck right next to the site. And then do you see that truck that is toppled over? That is the one that was struck by this plane. Now, we are working to verify CCTV footage that we are seeing pop up on social media, which shows this plane going very fast and T-boning that truck, essentially going over the truck and then landing back on the runway. That appears to be what happened here. This was a violent crash. And so when you factor in the fact that basically all of the injuries that we are reporting out right now are broken bones and bruises, that is nothing short of a miracle based on what we are seeing with that footage. I want to give you one anecdote here. A flight attendant strapped to her seat fell through an opening in the severed aircraft. The flight attendant was found by rescuers still in the seat and was transported to the hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. But that should just give you a little bit of an example. She was strapped into her seat. The force was so great, it actually ejected her along with her seat through an opening in the aircraft. Very much a violent crash here. A lot of people very fortunate to be walking out of the hospital today, Reed. And I want to actually give you a sense of what happened at air traffic control as well. We have some audio we want to play for you for the frantic moments leading up to that fateful incident.
Frontier 4195 to stop there, please. Stop, truck 1, stop. Stop, truck 1, stop. Stop, truck 1, stop.
And so you can see just how urgent that air traffic controller was trying to get the message across for that truck to stop. That truck was on its way to a United Airlines flight that had a separate report of an odor that it was going to assist in that. And then that's when this all happened.
Now remember, y'all, the fire truck has to get permission before it goes onto the runway. Someone gave them permission to be on the runway in the first place. But we'll get over into the AI breakdown. But let's keep going.
Reed. So just a tragic event that we saw watch in real time.
We understand Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy will be giving an update. And, there's been this conversation, Tom, in our country about exhausted air traffic controllers. They exist to make sure that things like this don't happen, that they indeed have control. Are you getting any sense of how many people were in the tower, maybe with eyes on this to avoid this?
That is a central focus of this investigation, Reed, and that is something we're going to be following very closely. It does appear to us that this singular air traffic controller who was communicating to the aircraft and to this emergency vehicle was juggling a lot. He was dealing with a lot. So we're going to be zeroing in on if he was the only person in the tower, how properly staffed the tower was. That is a central question that certainly needs to be answered. But to your point, Secretary Duffy has spoken extensively about the fact that air traffic controllers are very much strained because of staffing shortages, something that was made worse several months ago, as you may remember, when many of them walked off the job without pay. And these air traffic controllers, they take a long time to train. This is not something where you can just hire them and they start in a matter of a couple weeks. This is something that's months of extensive training, a very critical role in all of the air travel around the country, Reed.
Some harrowing accounts learning about that flight attendant still strapped in her seat and that wreckage behind you, Tom Hansen. Thank you so much for that update.
Now, this is a crazy situation, but at the end of the day, we got to tell how it is. Someone is going to lose their job. Most likely the air traffic controller who was juggling everything. Yes, it's stressful. Yes, there's shortages, but you caused the deaths of the pilots. Let's go over into this next video and see what else we can find out. Look at that. And that's the nose of the plane where the pilots would be in. An absolutely gnarly scene. I said gnarly. But let's get over into the AI breakdown just to get a little bit more information about this whole situation, get a little bit more details about the whole thing. So, as we know, on March 22nd, an Air Canada Express flight collided with a fire truck while at LaGuardia Airport, resulting in the deaths of both the pilots and includes a dozen other injuries. So it happened around 11:40 p.m. It says that the jet was traveling between 93 and 100 miles per hour. The truck was responding to a separate incident for an unknown odor at the United Airlines flight when it crossed the active runway. So here, listen to this part. Audio recordings reveal an air traffic controller cleared the truck to cross before frantically shouting, "Stop, stop, stop," as the plane was landing. One controller was heard saying, "I messed up," in the aftermath. Both pilots ended up dying, and then we had at least 41 people who were taken to the hospital. 9 individuals remain in the hospital with serious conditions. They talked about the flight attendant who reportedly ejected from the aircraft. The 2 officers in the fire truck are in stable condition but with broken bones. So LaGuardia Airport was closed, reopened a single runway at 2 p.m. today. Hundreds of flights were canceled, causing widespread disruption through the region. And then both the NTSB and the FAA are currently investigating this crash. Someone is getting fired. Got to call it how it is. The aircraft controller who initially gave them the go-ahead will likely be fired. But do you think, can you blame this on too much stress, too much stuff on your plate? Maybe he was watching too many things at one time. We have to be understanding that there's a shortage of critical roles in the airports. We just talked about in the last section. Remember, these people are also not getting paid while the partial government shutdown is there, but they are required to be at work. Absolutely tragic situation. We do got to pray for the families. It's sad, but it could have been a lot worse. We got to remember that. Only 2 people died, the 2 pilots. But it could have ended in way more deaths. But let me know your thoughts on that situation, y'all. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. Do you think the air traffic controller will be able to keep his job? That's the realest thing. He was already working there without getting paid, but something like this happens. It's over with. It's a crazy situation, y'all. We're going to pivot now over into our third topic that we're going to be discussing today. And a little while ago, a few weeks ago, we talked about some teens. It was ages 12 to 15. Or it might have been 13 to 15. But we'll get over into the exact ages. But they ended up sexually assaulting a 12-year-old girl. And a lot of people were saying that they should have been released to the parents and everything like that. But they recently appeared in court, and the judge ordered one of them was granted house arrest and able to leave the jail. The other one, who was slightly older, maybe by a year, was remanded in jail. Now, is that fair? Should they both have been remanded in jail? Should they both have been let go to go home? We'll find that out. And then I think one of them is currently not even in custody. So let's go over into these videos and see what we can find out about this whole situation. And just see what we can find it out about it. Sorry about that, y'all. Clicked on the right one. Let's jump into it. Let's jump into it.
An update tonight on the shocking rape of a 12-year-old girl. 2 of the 3 young boys being charged as adults in the case were back in court as a judge weighs if they should stay locked up. Local 10 Syra Onward joins us live from the courthouse in Miami with the testimony that brought one of the suspects to tears. Syra?
So, Nicole, what these teens are in is an Arthur hearing, which would determine if they could be released on bond, even though they're charged with offenses that would typically keep a suspect behind bars.
Clearly, at that age, the understanding of actions and the consequences are not the same as an adult person.
The attorney for Nelson Nunez arguing his 13-year-old client should be released from jail on bond as he awaits trial. Nunez is charged for the disturbing June 2025 rape of a 12-year-old girl in Overtown. He's charged along with 2 other minors, 12-year-old Josiah Jones and now 15-year-old Xavier Tyson. Tyson is not in custody.
Who exactly told you them? It's Xavier Tyson and Josiah Jones.
Lead Detective Louis Joseph facing questions in the Arthur hearing related to the young victim's statement. Both boys are being tried as adults. According to police, 12-year-old Jones is accused of putting rocks in the young girl's mouth to silence her, while 13-year-old Nunez raped her in an Overtown community garden.
Send them both to jail. It's as simple as that. Come on now. What are we talking about here? Should they be released back with their family? No, they shouldn't at all. They need to be right there in jail where they deserve to be. They talking about, oh, well, at this age, they don't clearly understand the consequences of their actions. Well, bull crap. Come on now. Come on. Let's think about it when we were their age. We knew what would happen. At least I did. 10, 11 years old, I knew what would happen if I do something crazy. I'm going to jail. I got enough family members in there already. No, come on now. Let's not have them put the veil over our eyes, y'all. Let's keep going though.
Jones, emotional in the courtroom as a detective recounts the victim's statement.
You continue in your report. JJ told Nelson Nunez and Xavier Tyson that they were going too far. Correct. And they is Nelson Nunez and Xavier Tyson, correct? Correct.
Also testifying, a forensic psychologist speaking on the possible impact of housing a juvenile within an adult correctional facility.
In general, my concern would be that you have somebody who is not just a juvenile but quite young, who would inherently need to be segregated from their general population that they serve.
So again, this is an Arthur hearing which could determine pre-trial release. This is not the actual trial, and this hearing is ongoing. It'll pick back up Monday.
Yep. So it has been announced, but let's go over into this next video.
So an update today after 3 boys are accused of raping a 12-year-old little girl in Miami.
A judge made a decision about whether some of those suspects will stay behind bars. Local 10 Syra Onward is live in Miami with that ruling.
And Eric Christie, an Arthur hearing wrapped up today for the two of the boys accused in the rape of a 12-year-old girl in Overtown that happened last summer. Now, in an Arthur hearing, a judge determines if pretrial release can be granted, even though a suspect or suspects face charges that typically are offenses that are so severe that bond isn't granted. Let's take you to video now from today's hearing, and I'll tell you some more details about what happened. There were 2 very different outcomes today. 13-year-old Nelson Nunez, the suspect accused of raping the young girl, will remain behind bars in an adult correctional facility as he awaits trial. Over the past several days, his attorney had Nunez's family members tell the judge how they would ensure his supervision if he were to be released. The judge was not convinced. However, 12-year-old Josiah Jones, the suspect accused of putting rocks in the young girl's mouth to silence her as she was allegedly being raped by Nelson Nunez, will be allowed to go home as he awaits trial. He'll be on lockdown at home. He'll have to attend virtual school and can't have access to the internet outside of school, and may not contact the victim or any other defendants. So both suspects are being tried as adults. We spoke to attorneys for both suspects after the ruling.
Now, let's think about this, y'all. Is that fair? This little boy who gets to go home, obviously the one who actually sexually assaulted the 12-year-old deserves to stay in jail. But the 12-year-old who put the rocks in the little girl's mouth to silence her. He gets to go home, eat some good home-cooked meals. Is that right? In my opinion, they both need to stay in jail without bond and just stay in there till the trial. That's my opinion. But let me know your thoughts, but let's keep going into this.
Now, that doesn't mean he's going to stay in custody forever. It just means for now, as we are defending the case and resolving the case, he will remain in custody.
My client received a substantial different outcome because he was in substantially a different position. The position he was in was that he was forced to do the things that he did by the other two children as a threat of force. And those were the words of the young victim herself.
Now, a third suspect, Xavier Tyson, is accused of holding down that victim as this horrible crime occurred. We're told that he is expected to be taken into custody in the coming days and also tried as an adult. Reporting live in Miami.
Now that brings up a good point. Now, the little girl said that he was the one who was able to go home. He was actually saying, "Oh, we're going too far. This is too much." But at the end of the day, he still did it. He still forced rocks in her mouth so she would be quiet. Does him bringing up the point that we're going too far, does that negate what he actually did and let happen? Or what he was a part of? But let's go over into the AI breakdown, y'all, just to get a little bit more information about this whole tragic situation. So let's jump over into it and see what we can find out. So as we know, in the significant case that happened today, two of the three boys charged as adults for the sexual assault of that 12-year-old girl. So we know that the 12-year-old Jones was granted house arrest and bond. His defense argued that he was coerced into participating by the older boys and that he was telling the others that this is rape and we shouldn't be doing this. Yet he still put some rocks in her mouth. I guess so. So we know that the 13-year-old was denied bond and will remain in jail while awaiting the trial. Now here's the kicker now. Xavier, 15 years old, is currently not in custody, though a warrant out for his arrest after he reportedly moved out of state. How do you let that happen? We'll Was he ever in custody? That's the main question. How do you let that happen? Has not been booked into adult jail system as of late March. While his co-defendants, the two were held in the Metro Detention Center after the indictment. Tyson was reportedly as being out of custody or out on bond during the most recent pretrial. Wow. But let's keep going into this. So just more case details. So remember, the victim allegedly was grabbed while walking home and taking to the Green Havens Project Community Garden. The girl was pinned down for roughly about 30 minutes to prevent her from screaming. Rocks were forced in her mouth. The attack ended when the girl's father, who was searching for her, began calling her name. All three boys faced various felony counts, including sexual battery, kidnapping, and false imprisonment. They all had pleaded not guilty. But how in the world do you let one of these boys leave the country? That's the greatest question in the world, y'all. But let me know your thoughts on this. Do you think that it's right for that one boy to be sent home? Or do you think for some reason they both should be sent home? Let me know your thoughts on this situation, y'all. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. But I've said it several times before. Big boy crimes need big boy time. None of that slap on the wrist stuff. And frankly, I don't care that he said that this is... I don't know if I truly believe that he was coerced. Maybe he is possible. Yes, it's possible. But you just sat there and watched this happen. Does that negate what you did? Let me know your thoughts on that situation, y'all. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. Absolutely tragic situation. We just got to pray for that little girl too. It's a very traumatic situation. and she's going to have to do a lot of healing. We're going to pivot now into our last topic we're going to be discussing today, and we got to go to Hawaii. That's Hawaii. You know how Hawaii is, but it looks like some massive flooding has happened in Hawaii, where it looks like a dam this is like the worst flooding they had in 20 years, but a dam is near failure or possibly have already fallen. We'll get over into the details of this whole situation. But 20 years, this is the most rainfall flooding event that they have experienced. So let's get over into it. It doesn't look like, as of right now, no one has died from this, so that is a great situation. But let's get over into it and see what we can find out. It seems like they ordered a mass amount of people to evacuate because of the situation. So we'll get over into it and see what we can find out about this whole thing, and just see what we can learn. Just see what we can learn, y'all. But let's jump into it and see what we find out. See what we find out.
From above, you can see the devastation. Entire street blocks on the Hawaiian island of Oahu completely underwater. Stalled cars submerged and stretches of farmland gone. Below, a desperate scramble to safety. The water here rising above the windows. Some attempting to wade through chest-high floodwaters. And across the North Shore, thousands forced to evacuate in the dark.
The Coast Guard will be out there to do search and rescue if, God forbid, any of our loved ones have been washed away with housing. It's going to be a very, very touch-and-go day.
Tonight, the Wahiawa Dam at risk of failure. Hundreds of homes below it forced to evacuate.
The dam, which has been safe, was getting close to 85 feet. That's why we sounded the alarms and made sure people could get over out of harm's way.
The rain has been relentless.
Now, based on my research, it was at 85 feet and it's at 90 feet. That's when it has the possibility for toppling over. But let's keep going.
A second storm system pounding the islands this week. Months worth of rain causing dangerous conditions and significant damage. This home ripped away in heavy winds, crashing into the stream below. Tanner Morrow woke up to the sirens. He had minutes to choose what to save.
It was pretty much what you could fit in your arms and then go. It's definitely just been kind of harrowing. I mean, we're not used to bad weather. I mean, Hawaii is famously one of the sunniest places in the world.
And Billy V joins us tonight from Oahu. Billy, those evacuations are underway right now?
Yes, they are. As a matter of fact, Honolulu Police Department is here to make sure that people don't go into Haleiwa town. There are trucks and other apparatus that's being staged in this area. But once again, those evacuations continue. But the rain, it's supposed to continue Saturday and Sunday.
We thank you.
Let's get over into this next video.
There are mass evacuations going on this morning in Hawaii. A dam north of Honolulu was pushed to the limit. Take a look at that. Already widespread flooding from two powerful storms in the past week. Here is ABC's Michelle Franzen.
A dangerous situation unfolding north of Honolulu. Rising floodwaters surging behind the 120-year-old Wahiawa Dam, now pushing it toward a possible failure. Thousands living downstream told to leave immediately. The Hawaii National Guard has been activated, and the governor is warning residents to get out now.
The dam, which has been safe, was getting close to 85 feet. That's why we sounded the alarms and made sure people could get over out of harm's way.
Relentless rain continues to pound the islands, with more on the way through the weekend, raising the risk for even more flooding. Already scenes like these in the rain and wind.
This is nuts, bro. Oh my God, it's rushing so fast.
What appears to be the roof of a home on a road and nearby flooded streets and front yards.
Come with me, family.
The heaviest rain is expected through Saturday, with the Big Island getting the worst of it. Wind gusts of 45 miles an hour are possible. The governor ordering all state departments closed and state workers not responding to the emergency to go home. Locals calling this storm Kona 2.0. It's the second so-called Kona low to hit the area. A Kona low is a subtropical cyclone that can cause extremely heavy rain like Hawaii has seen for the past week.
I've mobilized even more military reserves, and we have the troops coming in from Schofield to help. The Coast Guard will be out there to do search and rescue if, God forbid, any of our loved ones have been washed away with housing.
Residents in impacted areas urged to gather their families and head to shelters now. Parts of Oahu are without power. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Tragic situation. I can't imagine. Now remember, we all know Hawaii is known for the sunny days. You don't even think about bad weather when the word Hawaii comes out your mouth. But this is the reality that people are dealing with.
Oahu's North Shore is moving into recovery after the massive flooding over the weekend. Joining us now live with more on what's happening is the area State House Representative Sean Quinlan. Aloha and good morning, Representative. Thank you so much for stopping by with us.
Aloha, morning, Sam.
What are your takeaways after visiting some of the most impacted sites over the weekend?
It's the worst flood I've ever seen. There's just so much mud everywhere. There's so much damage, and so many people have lost everything.
What do residents and those most impacted need right now?
Help, volunteers to clean, cleaning supplies, medical supplies, disinfectants, squeegees, power washers, shop vacs. We have enough water. That's probably the only thing we do have enough of. Dried food, durable goods. We don't need clothes, please. No clothing donations yet. That'll come later. We don't need linens. That will also come later. Right now, we're trying to deal with the immediate need of keeping people fed and cleaning out their houses.
As far as the state's response, obviously this did happen at a very unfortunate time, right in the middle of the night. Lots of folks were sleeping. They wake up to floodwaters in their homes. What do you make of the state's response so far?
I think I think the state was acting on the best advice of the National Weather Service. Meteorology is not an exact science. It caught us all by surprise. I really do want to mahalo the State Department of Transportation, particularly Director Ed Sniffen. He was on the ground with me all day Saturday, helping us to get bridges open, helping to clear things out. And he got us 2 40-foot dumpsters yesterday, one for Latake Camp and one for Laie, and that was very helpful.
Moving forward, obviously it's spring break. There's a lot of visitors on Oahu. Obviously residents are moving in and out. Your message to residents as well as visitors about just being on Oahu's North Shore right now.
For visitors, please don't come to the North Shore right now. Yesterday we had a ton of traffic, especially in the Wailua area. And we even had, I think, some local residents that were sort of looky-loos. If you're not coming to volunteer or help or donate, just give us some time to recover.
Wahiawa Reservoir was a big part of the discussion on Friday. That water level did reach 85 feet. I think it raised about 7 feet from midnight on Thursday going into early Friday morning. What would you like to see done with this? It's a very complicated issue with Dole Company as well as the state. What would you like to see done with Wahiawa Reservoir?
I think in the immediate short term, we have to widen the spillway so that more water can escape and take pressure off of the dam. I'm actually going to tour the dam in about an hour and a half with the governor to get an update, so I'll have more information after that.
Representative Sean Quinlan, thank you so much for stopping.
Now, just for people who don't know, a spillway is something that's built into a dam so that if water starts to rise too high, you can open the spillway and let the water flow out, and that way the water level will fall. Simple as that. But let's go over into the AI breakdown just to get a little bit more information on this whole situation. So, as we know, so they was talking about the dam. They say during Hawaii's worst flood in 20 years. So let's see. So March 21st, as the water level stabilized at the peak of the crisis, around 5,500 residents were ordered to leave due to the threat. The state engineers reported 120-year-old dam is currently stable and operating as designed. However, the dam remains in poor condition with high hazard potential, meaning a failure could result in a loss of life. So water levels reached the peak of 85.3 feet, approaching the 90-foot level where uncontrollable overtopping would occur. So the storm has caused an estimated $1 billion in damage across the state, impacting homes, roads, and schools and hospitals. More than 230 people have been rescued from emergency crews, including a group of 72 from a youth camp. They are scheduled to vote this week on an acquisition plan to transfer ownership of the dam from Dole to the state to begin a $21 million necessary safety repair. You have to update it. It's as simple as that. Especially, think about it, when a structure goes through something this significant, reaching the close to the max capacity that it needs, there's going to be a potential for some damage. There's going to be some needs for some updates, for some reinforcement to be added. And it's going to cost some money. It's as simple as that. These things cost money. And they just lost they just had $1 billion worth of damages from this flood, from this tropical storm. It's a crazy situation, y'all, but let me know your thoughts on that. Luckily, I haven't seen any reports of anyone have died from this incident. We had at least a couple people hospitalized, though. Absolutely tragic situation, y'all. But let's pivot now. But I was thinking that might be it, but we still got a little bit more time. We got a little bit more time, so we're going to go over into, I like to look at some body cam footage. Yes, some body cam footage. This next body cam footage that I found, I was debating on reviewing this or not, but we got time to do it. So we might as well, y'all. I like to do it. I'm trying to get around to sticking to an hour a show. But, so we looks like the title of this one is A Bank Scammer Finally Gets What He Deserves. This was just released today. But let's get over into it and see what we can find out about this whole situation. Does he truly deserve it? That's the question. Scammers, they'll take everything from you. But he's scamming the bank. Some people will be like, oh, that's not a problem. Some people understand that, hey, he's probably not just scamming the banks. But let's get over into it and see what we can find out about this whole situation and see what our thoughts are.
You are not free to leave. He's running. David Ford, he's running. Stop running. Stop. Stop fighting. You're going to get tased. He's running through traffic. Dairy Queen parking lot. Running back towards Fiber. Stop! 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 He got in a vehicle, he's driving away. Charles, Adam, Charles.
I wonder why he didn't. He said, I'm going to tase you. Why didn't you get your taser out? Or did he not? He couldn't do it. But let's keep going.
He went towards Tibbetts.
Tight.
I don't know which way it went once it hit Tibbetts. There's a Washington plate.
Wallet and then the coat.
Where's the check and all that? Can I see it?
Before the officer arrived at this bank, the suspect was attempting to cash in a fraudulent check. While the suspect is involved in a much larger organized financial crime operation than police currently realize, the officer now questions the bank manager to find out more about the situation.
Dang it. Okay, why do we think this is?
I called the number.
Okay.
He said that his house has been broken into, and he's got the police report that his house was broken into 2 p.m. Sunday morning.
Okay, that's when their house got broken into?
Yeah,
okay.
Or 2 a.m. So.
All right, thank you.
Sorry about all that.
Oh, that's all good. I'm just irritated he got away. He got in that car and started it, and I didn't want to hold on to him.
Yeah.
That's a good way to get hurt. And of course, I had to give my taser to our DT guy. So I didn't have it, or else I'd hit him with that. Dang it. Oh. This is his?
Yeah, that's his.
Okay, thank you.
The bank manager informs the officer that she spoke to the real owner of the check, and they revealed that their house was broken into just a day prior to the incident, and their vehicle was stolen as well. This leads police to believe the suspect who fled from the scene is also the one who broke into that house in order to steal the check and the vehicle, while there are still even more pieces to the puzzle yet to be uncovered. 2 days later, an officer with the Track and Field Police Department notices the same vehicle the suspect fled in parked across the street.
police department, stop right there! You're gonna get tased! Hey, you're gonna get tased, stop! Dispatch 818, we're beyond Marine and 5th, crossing the street, headed eastbound. Stop.
You can just see he's slowing down.
Stop. Hey, dude, just stop. Stop right there.
That's what. Oh yeah, he got it.
Hey. Stop. Dispatch 18, I got him from the Wanna parking lot. Do not move. Move. Sit down. Do not move. What are you doing running, dude? Dispatch 18, in custody. Make me run like that, bro? Come on. Chase me. Can you get up for me? Come on. Come this way. Wanna grab his phone? You're okay, bro. Give me a workout, right? Anything on you that's okay. Anything in your pockets, bro? Some change. Spread your feet for me. Thanks, bro.
Do you have any injuries you need to know about?
Yeah,
You think so or no?
I definitely do.
What's wrong with your foot?
I sprained it.
Yeah, you're good. All right.
Yeah, let's go sit in the back of here.
He's got some change in his pocket. Just sit down.
Probably need some shoes out of dust.
Oh, okay. Oh, I got gear on, brother. Come on now. Let's get a little
He said if I had shoes on, I would have dusted you.
run now.
Okay, feet in.
Yeah. Come and talk to me.
Just name, date of birth. I'm just gonna pop his door real quick. It'll be easier.
These cuffs.
What's up, buddy?
Cuffs are killing me. About 2 fingers worth not doing one.
Okay. When we get out, he'll probably have me take them off anyways.
That's what you get for running, you know?
You're all good.
Cinch them down.
Yeah, you're all good. What's your middle initial, Shane?
Oh, I'm an idiot and I'm a little delirious from the run. I just don't want to say anything.
Okay, no problem. I'll just grab it from there.
Okay, yeah.
And you said your foot hurt? Your foot hurts, correct?
Yeah, this foot does. I don't know what I did to it. I got a set of boots I just got.
Okay, so your right or left foot? So I can let them know. Left foot? Okay.
The suspect is now checked out at the hospital, medically cleared, and promptly taken to jail. As police still don't have all the details of the fraud scheme the suspect is involved in, a day later, an officer questions him about the missing information.
So real quick, body cam, state of Washington, we're required to record anytime we talk with people. So that's running. You understand that side of it, right? Mm-hmm. So again, I'm Detective Storm, Longview PD. I'm here to talk to you about something that happened in Longview here over the past week. Wondering if you're willing to talk to me a little bit about what's going on.
I haven't spoken with a lawyer yet, and I just am not all there. I'd much prefer to have a lawyer present for with me.
So kind of what's happened, just so you know, and we won't talk about it. Incident happened this week. Obviously, we wear body cameras. The officer says you ran from him on some stuff. He's requesting a warrant just because you're here. So what will probably happen is I won't come back here, right? It's a decent of a drive. So I'm assuming the judge, PA, is going to get a warrant for you, extradite you back to Longview, and then go from there. So I won't talk with you again. Just imagine when you get there, you'll get an attorney. Do you have any other warrants around here that you've got to handle while you're here?
I don't believe so.
Okay. So whenever you bail out of here, they'll ship you back to Cowles County, and then you'll see a judge, whatever the bail is, and then you can bail out there. But just so you know, kind of that's, I'm guessing what's going to happen.
Okay.
All right. Any questions about that?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, I figured, but I had to come up here and give you a try to talk to me. I am going to turn this off right now. But you did understand that this was recording, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Fortunately for police, the jail sergeant of the county jail happens to be directly involved in this case to fill in the missing details of the situation. The jail sergeant's wife was at a concert days prior when the license plate off of her car was stolen and replaced with another different stolen license plate. The license plate was then found to be on the vehicle the suspect used to flee the bank when he was attempting to cash in the fraudulent check. Police are now able to put the full story together. The suspect broke into a house to steal a check and then stole the homeowner's vehicle as well. He then swapped the license plate of the stolen vehicle with the license plate off the jail sergeant's wife's car. He then drove this vehicle to the bank the day after to attempt to cash the fraudulent check in for $3,000. However, bank staff knew the check was fraudulent when the suspect signed a name that belonged to an incarcerated person. Bank staff then called police, which is what led to the first incident shown in the body cam footage. The suspect, identified as Shane, was charged with felony forgery or counterfeiting, identity theft, 2 counts of felony possession of stolen property, felony fleeing, eluding a police vehicle, obstructing a public servant, and resisting arrest. He was adjudicated guilty and sentenced to 22 months in prison and 12 months of probation. He will be released back into the public in April of 2027 and, as of the time of publication, is lodged at the Cedar Creek Correction Center in Washington.
Now, y'all, this is a crazy foot chase, if anything. But you know how unlucky you have to be to steal the jail sergeant's wife's license plate? That is like the worst case scenario you could ever done. But hey, end of the day, you got to be in shape, especially if you're going to try to run away from these officers. And then officers definitely got to be in shape if they're going to try to chase after some of these criminals. It's a crazy situation, y'all, but let me know your thoughts on that situation. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. Hey, officer did a good job. He ran him down. Now, he's saying, you know how he said he did that little slide jab and said, oh, yeah, but if I had the regular shoes on, you wouldn't have caught me. I would have dusted you. But that's it for now, y'all. This is a crazy situation. But remember, y'all, if you ever disagree with anything I said, please leave a comment. Let's have a discussion about it. I'm never going to say I'm always right. I'm never going to say I completely understand everything. But let's have a discussion about it. But these videos will be broken down so you can go back and watch the one you want. But the best way to show your support is always just hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so you can be up to date on all the videos, y'all. But that's it for now, y'all. You already know I got to play that outro. Peace.